our dearest viewers in a new episode of NBC Journal. This is Lana again and Uwais with you. And in tonight's show, we're going to start with the briefing news with Bassam.
And we're covering the annual Grape Festival in Hebron.
And we're going to talk about the miniseries, The Spy.
Yeah, and at the end of our episode, Duha Abu Hanoud will be with us in the studio. But for now, let's go to Bassam for the briefing news.
Thank you, Lana and Uwais. Teams from the Israeli municipality of West Jerusalem, accompanied by Israeli occupation forces, informed a number of Palestinians in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Isawiyah that their homes are going to be demolished because they were built without a permit, according to a local activist. About 100 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails have been on hunger strike for several days to protest the installation of jamming devices in the prison, which they fear causes cancer, the Prisoners and Ex-Prisoner Affairs Commission said today. It said in a statement that the Israeli Prison Service moved hunger striking prisoners from such prisons as Rimon and others to the Naffa prison in the south of the country. A newly published United Nations report highlighted the urgency to resolve the continuing fiscal crisis faced by the Palestinian Authority and to support the Palestinian economy. It also called for increased attention on Gaza's health system, which faces serious challenges. However, the report stressed that no amount of humanitarian and economic support can substitute a negotiated two-state solution, which is the only way to meet the legitimate aspirations and security needs of both Israelis and Palestinians. Israeli settlers razed a Palestinian-owned land near the village of Turmasaiya to the north of Ramallah in the occupied West Bank, according to local sources. Illegal Israeli settlers from the illegal settlement of Adiad nearby and who were escorted by soldiers proceeded to raze about 6 dunums of land near the village. At least 6 Palestinians were injured by Israeli occupation forces during an Israeli army raid of the town of Azzoun near the city of Qalqilia in the occupied West Bank. The clashes erupted shortly after Israeli occupation forces raided the town and embarked on a large-scale search campaign. The soldiers fired live bullets and rubber-coated rounds at the protesters to disperse them, injuring 6, 2 of them by live gunshots. The Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor condemned the decision of the Nilesat Prize to withdraw author Camilla Shamsi's award over her support for the pro-Palestinian boycott, divestment and sanctions movement, according to a press release. The European Union joined over 300 Palestinian students in cleaning the streets of East Jerusalem in conjunction with the International Cleanup Campaign. 10 schools from various neighborhoods in East Jerusalem participated in the initiative and joined the world in its international movement. The students cleaned their schools and the streets of the old city, Wadi al-Joz, Al-Ram, Tuba, Surbahar, and Beit Hanina. These are the news for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Bassam. The annual Grapes Festival in Hebron celebrates the villagers' efforts to harvest grapes, and it's a way of preservation and community leadership.
Yeah, the festival is a joint work of farmers, ministries, and unions, and it continues for 1 month since the beginning of September. Now, to mention the fact that the festival is covering, holding events and activities on different aspects, medical, journalistic, and so on.
And of course, this is to mention that Hebron is a great environment, and it has a fertility and productivity.
Yeah, and
in everything.
let's watch this report for more information.
Hello again and welcome Bassam. As we were talking about the Hebron and the grapes there, people or Palestinians in general always convert these grapes into jams and raisins. So
That's correct in some way, but always remember that Hebron comes in first place when it comes to foods and hospitality and turning things up a notch. It's like putting the harvest seasons in place and making shoes. They're popular with making shoes.
Yes,
Yeah, I
true.
know, like, and with trade in general. And one thing, like, impressed me by the festival, how they're using grapes to create artworks.
Exactly, and they're very artistic.
and moving from Hebron to Nablus, and you visited the Samaritan.
Samaritan village
Samaritan
also
village,
goes
yeah.
by the Mount of Gerizim.
Yes, in Nablus.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting community. The community is one of the smallest communities in the world, so I think it deserves to be visited. Like the Samaritan village, it has
700, I think, 712 people there.
Yeah,
in
are they the
Yes.
only Samaritans left?
basically it's just
Yes, of
it's
course.
just that not just because they're the only ones. It's the Samaritans all marry from each other's. And since there's more females nowadays than males, or the other way around, I can't really precisely remember, is that they marry now from Ukrainians and part Israelis.
Yeah, and so speaking of that, they hold they hold two citizenships, the Palestinian and
The Arab
They're
and
like the
Hebrew.
neutral zone. They're the neutral zone between the Palestinians and the Israelis. They
And
consider
they-
themselves the
yes.
peace community.
They support the two-state solution, and I think they don't care about all the conflict in the Middle East and the Israeli-Palestinian
To
conflict.
somewhat degree they do, but we're going to be checking out this video that I took together. Mount Gerizim, the sacred land of the Samaritans, also known as the Samaritan village, and one of the smallest communities in the world. What's so interesting about the Samaritan village is that they live between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and they live in the both communities peacefully without any harm. Today we're going to explore about the Samaritan village's celebrations, the Samaritan religion's celebrations, Samaritan village's tradition and culture. So stay tuned and check us out.
My name is Abdallah Cohen, and I'm from the Samaritans who live in Mount Gerizim. And we believe we are the important part of the ancient Israelites who entered the Holy Land 3,650 years ago. The Samaritans have what's known as the Israelite tradition. They follow the first 5 books of Moses, the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And they also use ancient Hebrew, which is different than what the Jewish people today use, which is known as Assyrian Hebrew. And also there are differences, important differences, between the 5 books of the Samaritans and the 5 books of the Jewish. The most important one is the place of worship. The Samaritans believe in Mount Gerizim, which is the mountain we're standing on right now, as the central place of worship, the place where the tabernacle should be built, and that's where we do 3 times pilgrimage on the top of it. We have 7 festivals really during the year, 3 important or big main one. The first one is the Passover. We have the Shavuot, which is called the 7 weeks. And the third one is the Sukkot, which is where we build what's known as the tabernacle. It's made out of fruits that we attach on the ceiling. Looks really beautiful, smells very good. And it's to remind us of the Exodus from Egypt. We lived in Nablus for over 3,000 years, and specifically with the Arabs in Nablus for over 1,500 or at least more than that for 2,000 years. So we really have very good relationships with both communities, and we try to also be a bridge of peace really between both Israelis and Palestinians. In fact, we have two IDs, Palestinian and Israeli ID, which give us a lot of freedom and also help us build better relationships with both sides, because it's important that we have good relationships. Weddings and prides. Weddings in the community take 7 days. And one of the important, of course, things to do is to write the paper, the marriage paper, which consists of talking about the bride and the groom and what they did in their life. And also we have a slight problem with marriage, which is that we used to have more males than females in the community. So marriage in the community has been a little bit of a challenge. We had more males than females in the community, which meant that not every single man will find a Samaritan woman. So in order for us to solve this problem, we had to marry from outside the community. So we went from Israeli women and even women, Muslim women from Azerbaijan and specifically from Ukraine. But all of them had to convert to become a Samaritan. They go through a process of about 30 days or 60 days, and then they prove if they can keep Shabbat, keep the traditions and the ceremonies.
This 5-minute series on Netflix has been controversial on social media.
Yeah, especially on Twitter. And they're talking about the real story behind this miniseries.
Yeah, it's based on the story of Eli Cohen.
Eli Cohen is an Egyptian Jew that it's a series, a mini series, not a TV series, and it's about 6 episodes. It explains his journey from Egypt to Israel.
Yeah, and how he was working secretly to help the Jews, Egyptian Jews, to immigrate to Israel.
Yeah, it said that the intelligence he covered is instrumental in the 6 days war that happened in 1967.
So there's only one way to find out what's going on, and let's check out this trailer together.
Do you consider yourself a patriot?
I love this country with all my might. Welcome to Syria.
If your country needed you to lie to your friends, your family, your wife, would you do it?
I will be a buyer working for the government.
If your country asked you to risk your life, would you do it?
This is the opportunity for me to give you the life that I promised you, Daddy. My name is Kamel Amin Thabit.
The Sheikh is your only way in. Please join me.
You've made a nice life yourself here in Damascus. When you walk into your room, everyone wants a piece of you.
Come in. Enjoy.
You can trust me with your life. I hope I can do the same. We all have secrets.
This is not a game, Kamel. You are either him or you are dead.
Nadia, I'm worried about you. When's the last time you saw Eli? 11 months ago.
Don't leave us.
I don't want to go back.
You are saving lives, Ellie. Remember that.
When I first became Kamel, it was just an act.
You mumble in your sleep. You sometimes shout out names.
Those nightmares that she was talking about, they're not even mine, they're Kamel's.
Let's have an open, honest conversation on what my husband does.
Thinking of the clothes, he doesn't work anymore. I can't put him away.
Kamel isn't real. That life isn't real. You are Eli Cohen. You need to remember that.
It's a bit late for that.
Young Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank have been deprived from their basic needs and rights. And now there are so many people are traveling or immigrating from Palestine. Like, do you know more ideas about this, guys?
Immigration is a very big topic. People immigrate to seek money, seek freedom, seek safety, security, or explore.
And some of which simply seeking life.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but what's the cost of immigration?
Maybe these are best reasons. Maybe poverty.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is that they have, sometimes they have to choose between family, or to choose like just to have a start a new life outside Palestine?
Yes.
What do you
and
mean by like choosing a family or a new life?
Yeah, okay, so when you're leaving your country, you're leaving your friends and you're leaving your family. But let's take a look at the interviews Bassam made us.
So today we're going to check out why immigration is very important to students and what they're looking forward to and what they expect from outside countries. Let's check it out together. Have you ever traveled?
Yes, of course, I have been to many places abroad.
Where to?
Well, I have lived in the USA for a long time.
Wow.
And I have traveled to many European places.
And you've gained lots of experience?
Of course,
And it made you the person who you are today?
Of course, this is one of the advantages of traveling abroad is gaining really experience, meeting different people, and widening your knowledge of people in terms of culture, in terms of language.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, yeah. Hello?
Do you want to travel one day?
Yeah, of course.
Where to?
Maybe to United Kingdom.
How many languages do you know?
I speak two languages fluently and I know some Hebrew and Spanish.
Hebrew and Spanish. So are you planning to immigrate these languages?
Maybe.
Where to?
Spain.
Spain?
Yeah.
Why Spain?
Maybe because it's close to our culture and it's a European country.
Hello.
Hi.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
¿Cómo está?
That's not mine.
What's your favorite country?
Palestine?
Palestine. And are you planning to immigrate at some point?
Yes.
Where?
I don't have a specific country yet, but I think somewhere in Europe.
Europe. What are you going to do with the rest of your life?
I still haven't figured that out.
Are you planning to stay here?
Maybe, if there's an opportunity, why not?
Opportunity where? Here or outside? You want to immigrate?
If I can find a better life, a better job, why not?
Do you want to travel?
Yes.
Where?
Germany.
Why Germany?
Because it's beautiful.
And what about here?
No, it's not. It's not beautiful. Not totally just like that.
And what do you want to do with yourself when you get there?
To develop my personality and make money. And outside there is a lot of opportunities to create my own personality.
And you've gained lots of experience?
Of course,
And it made you the person who you are today?
Of course, this is one of the advantages of traveling abroad is gaining really experience, meeting different people, and widening your knowledge of people in terms of culture, in terms of language.
What do you advise the students?
I do advise my students to try it, to travel abroad for different reasons, entertain themselves, and for educational purposes. Certainly this will expand their knowledge and give them more experience about life itself.
I hope you hear this, students. Travel.
I want to get a job. So here in Palestine, you don't have any job, or yeah.
And you need. So you're looking for cash.
Of course.
How much cash are you aiming for?
$1 million.
Outside. Okay, and it's all about the job and the money so far.
It's about the job and the money. With that, life can build itself.
Do you have any friends outside the country?
Not really.
So you want to be the first? All right, good luck with that, bro.
Thanks, man.
Tell me why it's similar to our culture.
The nature of the people.
People, their hospitality is good.
Yeah, it's so good.
They're chill.
Yeah, and I have met a lot of Spanish people, and I feel like family with them. Like it's nothing different from Palestine.
So you won't be missing family anymore.
Maybe.
All right, good luck with that.
Who
bro.
knows?
Good luck. Learning something new is always fun, but imagine you can make a living out of it.
And our guest for tonight is a multilingual person who has studied abroad and in 2 countries, and she's now graduated from An-Najah National University, and her name is Duha Abu Hanoud. Hello and welcome.
We're really glad to be here with you in this
Thanks
studio.
for asking me to come here. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. To start, we'd like to start. Lana had a question for you about like where did this passion came from?
I don't know. It just came like the first moment 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was watching a series. It's called Wadi Dhiab. And for the first time, I decided to watch it in Turkish. So the moment I listened to the sounds, the voice of Turkish, it attracted me incredibly. And I said, why not taking this seriously? Why not learning this language? And
So making a hobby to something.
Yes, serious.
And you did not only learn Turkish, you know French, you know English, and now...
You know what? The secret of learning these languages was Turkish.
Okay.
It has a special place in my heart because the way I learned it was different from the other languages.
But what is the keystone or key element of learning any language?
Passion.
Passion.
Love. You have to love the language and you have to love what you're doing. And patience. It needs to be so patient, especially when you're learning from the internet. There's nobody to direct you and to help you. It's only you, so you have to rely on yourself.
Yeah, it's so amazing, like the human ability to transmit thoughts and knowledge through language. So, like, do you feel that languages shape our minds?
They are. Not shape minds, they are everything. Because when we communicate, we use language. When we study, we use language. When we do whatever we do, we use language. So it's the key for everything. When we travel, we use language. And when we are evaluated on anything, it's because of language. So Turkish pushed me forward and made me decide to study English and French. Because maybe before learning Turkish, I would never thought that I'm capable of learning these languages.
But do you have any experience from traveling abroad or?
Yes.
Or through who did you travel?
Yes, the first one was almost 2 years ago. It was to Poland.
Poland?
Yes, I went there and I stayed there for 4 months as an exchange student. So even when I was there, okay, it was about English, but I was benefiting from the Turkish restaurants to go there and talk in Turkish.
Good. And also you visited France, right?
Yes, the second one was to France, and I went to a university there. The program was called Stage Linguistique, and I stayed there for 3 weeks.
What are the obstacles that you've carried over your shoulders while applying to these programs, during, after, or before?
You know what? The obstacles, they are not only about applying and about the process that you face or that you go through. It's about the languages when you learn them. So when you learn languages, you will face a lot of obstacles. But for applying to any program, you have to go through a long, long process.
Yeah, I mean, but you mentioned a point like on languages and like, okay, so there's some sort of, okay, people say that the more you learn languages, the easier it gets. So basically after like, okay, the third language, do you feel like it is easier?
Now to learn another language? Yes, but the burden becomes, let's say, doubled on your mind. Because now I'm speaking in English, but there are a lot of things going on in my mind. Learning languages for me is not just about learning. You're not learning a language, a word, or a sentence, or how to put them together. No, you learn a culture, you learn a story, you learn the history of the country. And what amazing is that you feel that you are part of the language that you speak, you are part of the country. So sometimes I say that I feel that like my soul was born in Turkey, to that extent.
And okay, so you're also like in what you've mentioned, it is that sometimes like some words like cannot be translated. So like some sort of it's not optional. You need to know the language so that you would understand the culture more. You'd understand sometimes the way.
It's like when you're saying a joke, you can't just say an Arabic joke and translate it to English. It doesn't make the same sense.
You reminded me of a thing when I get angry. Like
you've been rejected for 3 times, and how did you like apply again? And what was?
It took me more than a year and a half to continue applying. Well, because I had, like, let's say, I was so patient and I want it very much. So when you want anything, when you want something, you can stand the difficulties and you can go through a lot of things that you don't imagine that you're capable of going through.
Would you say it's willpower? Like the key here, it's willpower that made you feel patient on rejections.
Yes, and it's like the desire of
Free
having
will.
the thing. Yes, so you want to go through this experience. You want it, so you do anything.
Yeah, okay, but at the end of, like, we have a question that we ask
Yes.
to every guest. Okay, so what is your secret? What is the secret you feel like, okay, I'm here because I've been doing this for like a very long time? It's some sort of something in your personality you feel like it's been pushing you through.
I don't know, maybe the benefits I can sense from learning languages, the things that it allows me to do, like learning languages allows you to do. Because to me, I always say that every language I learned, and I'm still learning, was a key that opened the door for me. So
now you own a lot of countries and you own a lot
yes,
of
you can
many
travel,
places
and
in the-
also
yes.
I love traveling, and it's a passion for me. And languages really are helpful in this thing. So
Thank you.
by languages, I can travel to
Yeah.
any country.
Thank you very much, Doha, for being here and for inspiring our viewers
Thank
with
you.
your passionate and inspiring personality.
Thank you. At the end of this episode, we would like to thank Leopardo for sponsoring this episode.
And see you next Tuesday.